He's usually here for any of you guys, huh?
His puppy's keeping him awake.
Okay.
Call to order the Stephenville Town Council meeting for Monday, April 27th, 2026. Janelle, please call the roll.
Councilmember Bailey. Present. Councilmember Ross.
President.
Councilmember Waller. Councilmember Smith.
Delayed.
Mayor Cruz.
Here, if you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Jerry, would you please lead the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, first order of business, public comments on anything that is not on the agenda but under the jurisdiction of the town council. Do we have any public comment? Okay, no public comment. Next item on the agenda is discussion decision lifeguard wages. Okay, Robert, you and Jerry are going to talk about this, right?
Okay,
Let Robert talk first.
give you, get these handed out yet. This is the, actually the revenue and expenses for the last 4 years through Black Mountain. Okay,
Talking about it.
and this is a little spreadsheet I'm gonna talk about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To start off, we actually looked at some of the costs of swim lessons in the surrounding area, and, let me go to my little sheet here. Wait. We are pretty right in the ballpark. Stephenville does 10 days of swim lessons for $75. The Canyon does 10 days of swim lessons for $165, plus $2 a day if you're not a member. But that's only 2 people, 2 kids per instructor, so that's a little bit different. Bridger Aeronaut, whatever, pool, aquatic, they do 8 days for $60 if you're in the district and $65 if you're out of the district. So we're involved, we're a little bit cheaper because we get an extra 2 days. In the YMCA, pretty full up, it's 4 lessons for $44 or $55 if you're a Getty member. So that's about all you can, that's kind of close to what we got in the area. So we're definitely within the ballpark with the rates. And so we could look at rates. If we could raise them a little bit, it depends on supply and demand. We open up lessons, they fill up. So if you use the supply and demand theory, you just keep raising rates until they don't fill up. But once again, that kind of cuts out some of the people who can't pay either. So there's a benefit and a loss either way to that way of looking at it. So if you look at the sheets I handed out, I updated them a little bit, okay? I'm just gonna kind of go through. We, for the last 4 years, in 22, 23, we lost $12,600. 23, 24, we lost $15,800. 24, 25, we actually did pretty good because we opened it up for more swim lessons. And we maximized the swim lessons, and we only lost $2,400. One of the sheets I handed out to you is the one I did, not black. It said 25, 26, so far we've lost $6,482. But the pool season is between 2 fiscal years. So this is based on our fiscal year. So we're gonna, in June, everything, all the expenses and all the income for June will calculate into this year, if that makes sense. And so we'll have maybe a few more expenses, but we get a lot of the income in June. So it theoretically, that number could go down just by the amount of lessons we max out in June. And then again, people pay in advance for swim lessons too. That's why I say the rev is kind of a misleading every year until you get full figures in how much you made during that swim season. You know, and it's sort of literally, you know, July to June. And so it's hard to, I try to keep it all the same. So that number theoretically could go down just because we maximize swim lessons. The cost over time has gone up. It's, okay, 22, 23, we're at 19,000. 23, 24, we're 25,000. And then 24, 25, we're at 25,600. So far, for this particular year, we are at 22,928, okay? So we're kind of, you know, so we have 2 weeks in June, open season, the open swim. You know, that number could go up a little bit, but it's not gonna like break the bank of what, you know, what we're looking at raising rates to keep lifeguards. So that's kind of the background of what we got for a total, the last 4 years combined, we've lost for $37,422. And one of it was the big year, you know, the 15,000 and 12,000, those were.
Oh, my apologies, Bob.
Hey, let the record show that Councilmember Smith is right.
So the FY 22, 23, and 23, 24, we had big expenses that year to open up. And so, so that kind of skews that number. But then again, 23, 24, and 23, we also had a lot of donations, which took care of some of the maintenance and pool cover, which is not necessarily in that number because they were donated, you know, donations. So if you just go with the last 2 years, you know, we're less than, you know, we'd be losing less than, you know, $2,000 to $5,000 on the pool. Then if you go down to the hard part about the wages is, one, they're kids, and you try to figure out how many people we need at any given time at the pool. And then when them leave, and some work 2 hours a week, some work 40 hours a week. And so the best way I went back and did it was based on how much we spent on wages and divided by their wage. The pool manager worked about 250 hours at $15, you know, it was $15 an hour. So that's what she worked last year. On average, the kids worked about 160 hours total on average for nine kids. We look at like that. And that gives you the right where we're at right now with spending the money. The hard part is figuring out, you know, every year we do the budget and the pool manager comes up with this, you know, we need this many kids for this many days for this much time. And the number is just over the top. You're like, we've never paid $60,000 for pool kids. It just doesn't happen. And then I always adjust the numbers, and they usually fit right within that amount from the historical average, because they all go on vacation with their families, they all go do stuff, and so it kind of dwindles off toward the end of the year a little bit. And hopefully we can get a better number this year, you know, as we go forward. What I laid out there is basically the number of hours they work. I kind of bumped it up to 200 as we go down for the cost, and, you know, it goes cost. Total number of hours worked, the weeks, we're open about 10 weeks a year. And then about number of hours on average, they would work, okay? And so it'd be 9 kids, 20 hours a week would be average. That's what's been through, you know, the last 4 or 5 years at the pool. Now, could you have 8 kids? Yeah, of course, then the number goes up per kid, you know, 5, it goes up. And I kind of, and then I said, positions like the pool, said pool manager, at $15, she makes about $3,750, plus her expenses, there's $4,102.09. That's what you know, we pay for Social Security. We pay for unemployment, we pay for work comp, okay, and that's where the expense comes from. And if you go up to 1550, 16, 18, okay. And then I did that with the lifeguards. The first line there, line 21, if you see it, is 160, that's the average. I did it based on 8 weeks. Gives me the right number where we were for this year so far in spending, that's how I got that number. If we say we budgeted over 200 hours, 10 weeks a year, 20 hours a week, the whole cost for 9 of them are about $23,628. And from there you can go 1350, which has to go to recommendation, 1450, $15 an hour. And you can see at $15 an hour, we literally just go up $3,000 for the year for the kids, lifeguards. So it's not that the hourly wage can go up quite a bit, but the whole cost doesn't go up that much in the big picture because they're only working so many hours. So that's something to think about. I said, so we could look at that saying for 12 hours, $12 an hour was 23,600, and then $50 an hour is 29,600, $3,000. I think you had a recommendation, didn't you, about?
Yeah, but now hearing the new information that I didn't know before, I don't think it'll be feasible.
Yeah, so one of the recommendations came up was trying to just get 40 hours a week, and then the pool manager and I think 5 lifeguards, something like that. That number goes up a little bit more. That turns out to about 37,200 if you had really 6 full-time employees for those 10 weeks. So you can see if they work a little bit less like that, it'd almost be like you're really getting, I would say, almost 4.5 employees full-time. So you should, with all the kids working the way they do to get the number that we pay out through the years. And it is a jungle for the pool manager. You know, initially it works out really good, and then through the, like I said, through the summer, it gets harder to manage the kids because they kind of go off and do their things, you know. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. The other thing I threw in like I said, the revenue. The revenue is slowly going up. Okay. Like I said, we started out in 23, got to 22, 23, we're at 18, 23, 24, we're 2,600, 24, 25, 35,283, and so far this year, we've made 29,062. Okay, so the revenue is going up, and that a lot of it had to do with the swim lessons being maxed out. Like I said, that 25, 26 number, still we've almost got 2 more weeks and a lot more revenue coming in. The expenses, you go to the expense sheet, same thing. Expenses are going up just the same, but not as fast, and which is good. One of the things I put in the splash pad in there for the expenses, the splash pad, just for your own information. It's just, you know, it takes away from the pool because they can go and do that for free, and it just costs us money. And we've lost, in the time that splash pad's been there, we've lost coming up about 10 grand. But once again, we were given a $10,000 donation to maintain the splash pad for so many years. And so that donation is now ended, if you will. And so it really will be coming out of the coffers of the town. Questions up to this point? With anything I've said? Okay. So I don't know where to go from here. I mean, looking at the budget, I mean, we still only have one person that's applied, you know, one resume that came in for the pool, and we put out flyers. And I think and this is just me thinking this, you know, I'm not, you know, I can go talk to all the kids at the school, but that wage number is just not something that's looking too good for them, you know. When we say we're gonna, even at 13, I think we put it out at $13 an hour and a plus, but, and we've gotten one. And what the assistant pool manager said should come back at, only if we pay her 18. She should be, most likely be the manager. So that's where we're at.
Councilmember Ross.
What is the bare minimum for employees for the pool to be functional?
That is the magical question, because you're not hiring full-time employees, you're hiring. And when I look at their schedule, I don't know how they do it, I think, because this, like I said, one kid will work 2 hours 1 week, and some of them work almost 40 1 week. And so they kind of juggle the time. It really depends on the lessons. The more lessons you have, the more people you have to have, and the lessons make the revenue. So we've usually worked about 8, works really well with the manager. That seems to there not be a problem with kids, not having coverage.
And at any given hour, like, if the pool is open right now, how many people would be there?
I'm gonna ask, if I say anything that's kind of off, okay, you say something, because it is diluted down in the pool, and these guys are down there a little bit more, than I am, which I just drive by once or twice a year. But the question was, sorry.
Like any given hour, if the pool's open right now, how many people would have to be working there just for it to be open at that time?
It varies so bad. Olivia would send them home sometimes last year if she saw that we had 4 lifeguards and 20 kids. She would send a couple of them home, tell them to come back for a lesson. And then there's days where they were lined up at the door and they had to wait to get in. And why that happens, they haven't thought of people. But
See, what's our minimum number of employees we have to have at the pool?
8.
8 at the pool.
8 plus, and not at the same time, they don't have to be there at the same time. 8 lifeguards, and plus a manager would be the best, but, all 8 of them will probably never be there at once.
Okay.
They'll switch around.
So 2, 3,
3 at one time.
because you gotta have somebody manning the cash register, right?
Yeah, and sometimes they don't.
And you gotta have somebody on the tower,
Mhm,
and then somebody standing by.
pretty much.
So we gotta have at least 3, right?
And I was told that every 15 minutes, lifeguards have to switch off on standby.
Right.
Right.
What's the pool capacity
70.
and how many lifeguards per swimmer?
Nobody knows. The big guess is 20 to 25. That's what we've been sticking with.
Okay.
I can't find a rule, but that's just what they've been doing for years, around 20.
Councilmember Smith?
We have any applicants yet for lifeguard? One.
Okay, and we think that the reason that we're not getting the applicants is because the wage is too low. Is that correct?
The wage is too low, and a lot of the kids that we had before, they went through the lifeguard certification. We used to pay for it, and then they started paying for it, and then they have to get research the next year, a little bit less. But that kind of group of kids kind of graduated and moved on. And so now we're kind of trying to get the next group of kids to come into it. The question is, do we pay, none of the figures here have us paying for their certification, which I think we were thinking now is 201 or something like that.
Mhm.
Get certified,
Per person?
per person, yes.
What's the maximum amount we can afford to pay within our budget?
Well, let's see, that's why we're making the budget. So, since we're already at a loss, we're at a loss. So,
It just depends on how much you want to lose.
yeah.
So if we went to $15 an hour, it would be, okay.
Let me go back to my little raise.
You said only went up 3,000 if you went to 15 now
Yeah.
versus 13.
Yeah.
There's only 3,000 more with the big picture.
So 3,000 plus, it'd be, and if we paid for their license, say 9,
You know,
that's 1,890, so we're about 5,000 more,
Okay,
12 to 15.
Plus the manager increase to
I-
18?
I had, and that's, well, no, I heard him not added in there, so that would be,
This comes out of,
the manager's increase would be $1,200.
we could count her with 16 people. 17.
I was thinking, if we're
Oh, yeah.
really,
You just work
we're
it.
rounding, And then what about, your swim instructor certs? Do you guys require those?
well, we've got 3 agenda items here. One's to discuss wages, one's to discuss reimbursement, and the other's to set date for opening.
Okay.
So if council wants to discuss all 3 at one time, I would recommend the council suspend council rules and make a movement to address all 3 items at one time. It seemed to me like that would be an easy way of doing it, because you kind of gotta congeal or mix the whole thing in to get a big picture. So if council would like to suspend council rules, I need somebody to make a motion. Councilmember Smith,
I move to suspend council rules and discuss items A, B, and C as one item.
okay, so motion on the floor to suspend council rules and discuss items A, B, and C as one item. Is there a second? Councilmember Wander seconds. So the motion on the floor to suspend council rules, adjust items A, B, and C as one item. Is there any public comment regarding this? Is there any council discussion regarding this motion? Therefore, I call for the vote. Janelle?
Councilmember Bailey,
Aye.
Councilmember Ross,
aye.
Councilmember Wandler,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Good. Motion carries 4-0, so you can discuss all 3 items at one time. And if you'd like, we can relax council rules a little bit to have a little discussion forum. Okay, just let's not let it get out of hand.
So this all comes out of the general fund.
Yeah.
So annually, how much of our general fund do we have left at the end of the year, typically?
No, about 200,000. Roughly, that's what we're shooting for, reserve. We are really tight in general fund. And so that kind of makes it, 220,000 is what the minimum we need, There's no requirement, you can be 0, but that would be, not very prudent for anybody to do.
My reason for asking is just more of a how much is, say that we do get that 5,000 extra that we're losing, kind of where that would put us in that, so.
5,000.
Yeah.
It's actually, if you went to 18 to the manager and 15 to the lifeguard, and paid for the 210 per the 9 employees, the total cost more would be about 8,617. Now, we can negotiate with the manager, we could, do something like that. Not saying they're working at 200 hours a summer versus, the average 160. I can jump that, change that real quick, to see what that number is.
It'd be 20% less.
That number is without the swimming instructor certs, right?
Yep, that's just with their little lifeguard certification.
And then the swimming cert is an additional thing on top of lifeguard training.
Right. And there was only one place I could find in Missoula, and it did not have a dollar amount attached to it. The only thing I could find, did you find anything?
No,
On
I
that-
never find was
yeah.
just lifeguard training.
Just lifeguard
And
training.
The city of Missoula does offer for $100 per participant. So if we could get them in that instead of the 210.
Is it still available?
Yeah. Their next dates for it are May 26th through 30th and June 1st through 5th.
Okay, good.
So we have essentially less than a month to hire 8 to 9 lifeguards, and then get them in for training. To have the pool open in June.
It's open later before, for construction type things.
It opened in July one year, I think in 23.
But the later we open, the less opportunity
It is.
for revenue, right?
That's what I mean.
So then we run the risk of not making our money back.
And then the kids that are wanting lessons have to potentially go somewhere else.
Right.
And then they're competing late for the other lessons.
So there seems to be a general consensus that the wages should be increased to $18 an hour for the manager, $15 an hour for the lifeguards, and that we should pay the certification fee. Is that correct? Is that what I'm hearing you're saying?
But potentially at least. I think at least potentially it's worth considering.
So, and Robert, that increase should be, what did you say, $8,750?
So, yeah, so it's all the magic, okay, so I budgeted, remember, I said the average employee working about 160, we had 9 of them. And then I kind of bumped it up to 200, because that's what they usually say. If we go back to 160, and we do all that, I think we're about that 890,000 or, I mean, we're in there, you know, or less.
Cut the cert in half to $100.
That's what I found online, yeah.
Okay.
So I can call it, double check.
And that means $900 less, so,
$500
yeah,
less.
yeah, so 900.
So I know that, I believe it may have been Gina that found that the county is paying for, or helping giving money to the Hamilton City
So
School.
they must have a park district, they have an out of district and a district.
Okay.
So if you're out of district, you pay more, so theoretically, and the county doesn't give money back quite. That came from the lawyer, he was the county, I was in the meeting with them. So, we don't have a in-city rate and an out-of-city rate, we just have a rate. And so literally, the people of the town are subsidizing people who live outside of the town, swimming lessons with the amount of taxes they pay. You could come up with out of town rate a little bit more, would bring up some of the revenue, but I know a lot of the people I've talked to, they all like coming here, because just in the greater Stevensville area, that's the only, why would you go down to Hamilton or why would you go to Missoula for swim lessons? So but then again, their taxpayer don't pay nothing for the pool.
So what's our current rate for using the pool, David?
So entry, it depends on your age, about $5 to 11, about 3 to 12, 12 to 17 is 6, 18 to 32 is $7. Okay, swim lessons, $75. Then we have swim pass, okay, so you all season for the youth is $80. Students $90, adults $110, and the family pass is $310 for all summer.
So now,
Bitterroot Aquatic Center, so Hamilton does 0 to 3 is free, and then they have an in-district and an out-of-district. Ages 4 to 6 are either $3.50 to get in or $4. Ages 7 to 17 are $6 or $6.50, and adults are 7 to $7.50. So just about the same. We're right on there. They're about $1 less on their little kids, but no, actually they're not. They're $6 for 7-year-olds.
So with the in-district and out-of-district, if we were to eventually go to do that, what kind of added workload would that create for the pool as far as, like, would we have to have another person there to run that?
Check ID.
Yeah, I think they have to go off of like on their swim lessons, when I called today to see if I could figure out like if they had any openings, they make you go online and then you have to register and then you put your address in. I don't know how they mark that. I mean,
Basically, you have to have.
if my mom and dad lived in Hamilton and I was gonna take my, I don't know, would you, would you just put their address on it and then, I don't know what people do. I'm just going off of, and you were talking last year, they'd have to check IDs.
But then you have to have somebody that knows which addresses are in town.
Exactly.
We have to have a town map of it, like we have here.
Yeah.
Town district, town.
So I don't know how, I don't know how that would work, to tell you the
And
truth.
it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily matter.
Oh, no, it would be, we've talked about it, like, did we have a different rate?
It would seem to me like that's something we could set up next year, is to issue a pool pass so that when they come in, we verify exactly where they live. This year, it may be too late to be able to do that. So next year, we could certainly do that. And increase our fees for out of district. I don't see a problem with that.
Right.
But this year, I think we're probably too late to do that.
Well, we don't have lifeguards.
Well, that's right.
Cool.
So, and that brings you to the third item on the list. Okay, so general consensus right now, we need to raise the rates, $18 an hour for the manager, $15 an hour for the lifeguards, pay for their certification. Okay? Then that leaves us with a decision as to a cutoff date as to when we have the lifeguards and are we gonna open the pool? Councilmember Ross.
With that, is there a possibility that we can set an initial date as our initial target for that? So that, say we set it so that we can get to that lifeguard training. We hit that point and then we have like a secondary, like another month after that then it's like, okay, we need it by this date or we can't open the pool because we don't have people.
When's the next certification class?
May 26th to 30th. So May 26th is the start of next.
Okay, so that should be your target date, June 1st. If we don't have the lifeguards, then we need to make a decision on June 1st. Would you agree with that?
I agree with it, and then, the people that are calling now and emailing, I'm just telling them that, yeah, we can get you on the schedule, but if we don't get lifeguards, it ain't gonna happen. So, I'm just being honest with them so they can't be mad.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, June 1st.
Okay, so June 1st be your initial cutoff date. Okay, if we don't have certified lifeguards by June 1st, we need to make a decision then to either open or close the pool.
And I guess one thing would be like, would we want to set it a couple days prior to that training so that then we could, that way we can have our decision made and we know that we have the lifeguards before that training?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, you can do that. I don't see a problem with that. When would be a good time to do that?
We have a council meeting on the 28th of May, you guys.
And that's be the day. 28th. Robert?
I would say for the wages, I would give a range so that we could negotiate. So we could go maybe 1550 to 18 for the manager.
Okay.
And I would say 1350, 15, and then if we could, it depends on what we get, but if they already come certified, then we don't have to pay that extra money,
That's right.
so we could say if they already come certified for this year, to say they're thinking about doing it, we could reimburse them that amount, so that they're not being messed over like the other kids, you know what I'm saying? Just as if these kids done it for you, if someone's done it for you, we'd rather have someone who's a little bit more, instead of fresh, if you will, a little bit more experience. We could kind of draw that up so it would look good on a flyer.
Councilmember Smith?
If I remember correctly, lifeguard certification is 1 day. It's a 1-day event.
This was broken up.
Yeah, the lessons that I found, they were 3 hours a day for 5 days. So it's quite a bit for high school kids to be.
Yeah,
And that's up in Missoula?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of gas money.
Mhm.
and the one that I found at
Unless we get one
210
here.
was a 1-day, cert, either at the Aquatic Center in Missoula, Currents, is that what it's called? Or the YMCA. And it was 1 day,
And what was the cost of that?
between 180 and 210,
So it's double the
200
price, double the price,
double the price.
but 1 day versus 5.
But if we're not making a decision until the 28th, then we miss out on the May 16th. And so that doesn't matter anymore, I guess. So the 1-day cert wouldn't matter because the next time that they do it is May 16th on a Saturday. So then we miss that window.
Well, they could still, no, you'd have to make a factor.
Well, what do you mean by just the window? If they can get the certification by May 16th, but if we don't have
We only
8
have
lifeguards.
3 lifeguards that,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Then we won't pay it.
Right, you want to pay it. Now, there is maybe an option, because Stephen and I talked about this, is that, okay, May 28th, you've got 9 kids that put their name in the hat, and we're gonna hire them all, and then it's up to us to make some phone calls and get these kids in at the Y as a group,
Or,
train them.
or we pay the instructor to come here and do it here.
Got you.
And there is a company I found that does that. It's called Lifeguard Pro.
And what do they charge?
That one that said call for pricing.
Okay? So that would be a good option.
Might
And we get all of our people trained right here. They don't have to waste the gas money running up to the zoo.
Don't they have to go to a swimming pool to get certified?
What's that?
They come to our swimming pool,
They could do ours.
if our swimming pool is,
Well, we'd have to get it open,
Yeah, they're working
we'd have to get it open in time, but sometimes that's a hassle. We can make it out.
We have people by May 28th,
Then we,
then we can make sure it's open for beginning of June.
Yeah.
Get an instructor here.
Yeah.
train
So,
and is that something, I guess, do we need to know that the pool is functional before that 28th as well, to know if we can open the pool?
you know, we usually don't that early. We usually open it like, I like to run it like for a dummy week, just to make sure all the stuff's working, recording, pumping, and everything's jiving together. Last year, I don't think we were able to do that. I think it was like 2 days and we were full speed. It's nice to have a few cushion days to make sure stuff's going.
Because I guess my concern was, we set the 28th for, and we say we have 9 people in the room, we got the pool open, but then we go to open the pool, and then it's like, oh, it's not actually working,
Right.
we're gonna be out another month.
We're gonna have to, you know, maybe we'll see applications come in and we kind of gain a momentum and then we just kind of make a decision. We're gonna open this thing 3 weeks earlier than normal.
Yeah.
You know, something like that.
okay,
If we want to do it here.
so wages? Yes, Janelle.
I just wondered what day there, if we weren't going off of all of these different dates, what date would you guys be looking at opening the pool? Last day of school is Friday, June 5th. And so Monday is the 8th,
That Monday,
that Monday.
because I have it open
Sorry.
last week, but
Yeah.
not let anybody in
Okay,
there yet. And just open it on,
okay.
if everything was perfect.
Okay, so a little summary. Lifeguard wages, variable $15.50 to $18 an hour for the manager, $13.50 to $15 an hour for the lifeguards. We agree to pay the certification. And if we can, we'll do the certification here in town, all at one time, without just bringing the instructor in. I think that'd be a great thing to do. That would save the kids a bunch of money. And then, we set a date to open the pool of June 8th, if we have the lifeguards. And we make a decision to open the pool on May 28th, if we have. Is that what everybody understands?
Clicking pretty good.
Robert?
16.
Going out way. Yeah, we talk about, expenses and stuff. One of the things, think about other revenue. So last year we sold some shirts and some snacks, and we're gonna try to do that again this year to beef it up. Another option would be to, I know when they asked the council before about this, is selling a spot for like a coffee truck or a food truck in the morning outside the pool. I think they were gonna pay so much a day would offset some of the cost of the pool. Even $25 a day for, a week, $125 a week doesn't seem like a lot of money, but you got 10 weeks, you just get $2,500.
Yeah.
Which does offset the cost of the pool.
Okay.
The other option would be to run a program where you sponsor a lifeguard, have business sponsor a lifeguard. When we talk to businesses about sponsoring a lifeguard, maybe for their training or something like that. On top of all that, if that sounds reasonable, to get more people involved, because I think the community wants the pool, and if they hear we may not, but if they.
Well, I think that we need to talk about those at a separate meeting, because that's not on our agenda tonight. Councilor Bailey.
Are the lifeguards teaching kids how to swim?
Yes.
Are we generating revenue as a town for these kids learning how to swim? Are we advertising that we'll teach them how to swim and collecting money in return?
Yes.
Are we anticipating that we're going to have all of our lifeguards certified as swim instructors in?
It never has been that way.
They never.
So to me, that seems like a huge liability that we are advertising that we're gonna teach our kids how to swim, but the people teaching the children have no prerequisites to do so.
There's a program they go by, I don't know where it came from, it must be some kind of approved, well, I'll find out for you. They didn't just make it up, there's specific activities and duties and levels that they have to achieve. I don't know where that came from, it could have come from Missoula, a copy of them, I don't know, but it's a certified program.
So all the lifeguards go through that then?
Not through, all lifeguards do it, but they don't necessarily go through that in a class like they do the life-saving
Yeah.
things. Never have.
I don't say,
Councilor Water.
I don't think we say we will teach your kids to swim. We are just giving them swimming lessons.
It's a difference.
Yes,
It's a good distinction.
we can't say these little 6-year-olds. I used to teach swimming lessons.
Yeah.
And we just said we're gonna have swimming lessons. There's a lot more to swimming than swimming.
Yeah, I think with swim lessons, it's implied that you're gonna learn how to swim. And I think it's a bit of a slippery slope.
What's our advertisement say?
I don't know what it says.
We call
Swim
it
lessons.
swim lessons.
Probably what we need to.
Group swim lessons or private swim lessons?
Okay, we don't certify that they're gonna be swimmers.
I mean, we're not gonna, they won't come out of the class with a certification saying that they're a proficient swimmer. But I mean, teaching a class and inviting people to come to a class implies that you have some sort of certification yourself as an instructor, in my opinion.
Concealed weapon carry instructors in this state certify people to carry a concealed weapon. They do not teach them how to handle guns, and they do not teach them how to shoot. I guess that would be part of our liability waiver.
Okay, yeah, if we have a liability waiver.
Yes, Robert?
I know they have the program down. I think it would be good to have that program brought up and looked at. And I know when they get together, Melissa, and they actually talk about what they're teaching, and there's little things that they have to sign off on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we can dig into that a little bit more, because I think there's more to it than just what we're thinking about. There was one point in time, they had this whole program we used. It was a thing we paid for, and it tracked the time, tracked what the kids did, and all this stuff at the pool. We don't pay for that anymore. but I think that's the program they're still using. And so it didn't certify them, but I know they didn't talk about what they had to do with each kid in each level.
Okay.
And I think that would be something we could.
So,
We could.
so for our purposes tonight, we're just talking swim lessons, okay? We need to put the program together, make sure the program's put together and specify exactly what the kids are gonna be instructed regarding, and have our town attorney look at it for liability issues. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's good.
They have, like a 6-level thing that they sign off the kids for the lessons, so I can bring those in. I have
Great.
multiple laws.
Great, can you actually provide one to Janelle so she can email it to all the council members? Okay, I appreciate that. Okay. Councilmember Ross.
Another thing I thought about earlier, and I forgot about it, but we do have on a future agenda with the group here locally was looking for us to maybe lower the price for those, specifically their group, and that would be a potential increase in some revenue with kids that likely wouldn't have normally come, so that is something to just consider.
You're talking about Jamie's?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be dealt with as a separate issue.
But it's something to think about, that we may have more kids than normal if we did this.
Okay. So, everybody got a good idea of what we're doing here? Okay. So could I have a motion on the floor for the lifeguard wages? Councilmember Ross.
I would like to make a motion that we approve lifeguard wages for the Stevensville pool to be between $13.50 and $15 an hour.
Okay, and
The manager.
And the manager wages from $15 to $18.
outstanding. Is there a second? Councilmember Wander. So the motion on the floor to approve lifeguard wages at $13.50 to $15 an hour, and the manager $15 to $18 an hour. Okay, any discussion?
Can I ask just one more question of
Yes.
Robert? What is the likelihood that we will get that money back if we raise the salaries?
Get the money back.
Yeah, so if we raise our rates from $13.50 to $15 an hour, or our salaries, what is the likelihood that we will make that money back or see a return on that?
Currently, we're not getting our money back.
Right,
Yeah.
so it's
So,
just not gonna happen, we're just.
So the pool has always lost money. We've always subsidized it.
Yeah.
And I expect the same thing to happen this year. We're not gonna get our money back, but we provide a service to the community, and I think that's what's important. So I don't think we're gonna make it a profit-making operation, it's just, we haven't even talked about the cost of running the pool, the electricity, the water, the chemicals, anything like that. Because that all gets added in to the operational cost of the pool. So, council members, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Smith, Councilmember Smith.
What is the determining factor between $13.50 and $15?
It's a negotiation.
Hmm?
It's a negotiation between the lifeguards and the town for being hired. It gives you a wage range. You got an experienced lifeguard coming back, he has a higher probability of getting a pay raise
Sure.
than a new lifeguard.
Are there going to be set raises week after week or something
No.
like this?
no.
No.
No. Councilmember
I
Wander.
think a consideration in that is if we're paying for them $13.50, if they've been here before, $15.
Yeah. Okay, Robert,
For years, we used to have a 50-cent raise for every year they came back, they got a 50-cent raise, so, and then you had to track which ones were here. And they knew, because the next year they're gonna come back with 50 cents. We don't, that's kind of not in the plan anymore. We haven't done that until we did the last couple of raises on it. So it just gives us a little bit more negotiating when we get a feel for where we are. Like, right, I suspect that we're gonna pay the 18 and the 15, but if we go back and talk to the manager, we can get her down at 16, 17, it's just better for the town.
so, and we're gonna have to come back and do these wages on a resolution.
There you go.
So we're still, you decide tonight, we're still gonna have to come back by resolution. Because wages and salaries are set by resolution. Councilmember Smith.
With your motion, Tom, are we funding the certification or not?
That's a separate issue.
That's what it
Okay.
Separate issue.
All right.
So the motion's on the floor right now to approve lifeguard wages at $13.50 to $15 an hour, and the manager wages $15 to $18 an hour.
Very good.
Is there any public comment on this? Any further council discussion? I'll call for the vote on lifeguard wages.
I never got a second.
Yeah, there's been a second. Councilmember Wander, second.
Okay. Sorry, Councilmember Bailey,
Aye.
Councilmember Ross,
Aye.
Councilmember Wander,
Aye.
and Councilmember Smith.
All right.
Very good. So next we need a motion for reimbursement or paying for the certification for the lifeguards. We've discussed in council that we're going to go ahead and pay for the certification, either by paying them individually to have their certification, or we're going to have an instructor come and provide the training here. Councilmember Ross.
With that, is that something we just need to distinguish at a later date, the individual, or we're doing it all year? Or is that something that can be kind of, if we say that we're gonna cover it, then it's, yeah,
That gives you an option.
okay.
Councilmember Ross.
I'll make a motion that we approve the reimbursement of certification for lifeguards.
Okay, so the motion on the floor to pay for the reimbursement and certification of lifeguards. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Smith seconds. So the motion on the floor for the town to pay for the reimbursement of the certification for the lifeguards. Is there any public comment? Councilmember Bailey.
Any consideration for some sort of retention language? If the lifeguards go and get their certification and they only cover one shift, and leaves us short-staffed, or they leave town, or, like, how are we going to recoup our money or ensure that they're actually going to work the shifts that we've invested in them to do so?
Jerry.
Could we do something where after 30 days they reimburse? Or a set timeline to,
That's a possibility.
And is this something that'll also have to be a resolution later? So that's something we can dictate in that resolution.
Yes, this is something that will have to come out as a resolution. Robert.
So look at it from a flyer standpoint of where, so if we even say the 30 days looks really good, so it's just, we have nobody right now, and we say we're gonna do these wages, we're gonna set up the training for you, and then, if you already have a reimbursement a certain amount of days, it kind of is a one-stop shop from almost, and now kids think, well, maybe I'll be a lifeguard. We've done all the work for them, we've set up the training, gonna make them, a lifeguard, and then we're gonna pay a decent wage. I think we have a better chance.
But if we have a kid who works one day,
And that's but if we do the training, say we do the training, we can't ask you for your money back, we're kind of out of that money. And so with people we hire, we're gonna have to, I think the reimbursement, someone comes in and we pay for them, I think we wait 30 days. At least,
But
so
if
they have
we're
to
gonna,
work 30 days before or at the end of the season, they get reimbursed for
the attendees, they get reimbursed for their training.
Because, yeah, it would be hard if we host it at our pool, have somebody come in to train them. We then would have to, if we were gonna reimburse them after 30 days, we would have to then make them pay us
Yeah.
to then, in 30 days, pay them back, which is where the
I-
clunkiness would.
I think I think at this point, if you want to, you call that handcuffing, okay? If you want to handcuff a potential employee, you're gonna have to have town attorney review on this agreement. And that may cost us more than just paying for the certification. You know,
We do this with our police officers because we're investing
thousands.
tens of thousands of dollars. And I think right now you guys were talking about maybe $100
And then an hour of the attorney is,
is $150,
and it's probably gonna be more than an hour.
probably.
So you could just probably, the attorney cost is gonna be the same as just paying the 9 people's.
Okay.
Two of them work for 2 weeks, and I think it's just the game that we,
You know, and you can't always predict what's gonna happen.
I mean,
You know, anything can happen. Somebody may get, they may get an offender bender, not able to, you know, break an arm or wrist or something, you know. So you're gonna put all that kind of stuff in your handcuffing agreement. I think that it might be better just to pay for the certification, get the employees we need, and get the service rendered to the town.
It would look better on the advertisement flyer. If I were a 15-year-old kid saying, yeah.
Well, yeah. But to try to handcuff them, I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah, I don't know, I think a general, form that they fill out saying that they would work a certain number of hours or reimburse the town for the money that we invested into them is something very simple, and it protects the town. I know it's just $100 here and there, but if it's 8 employees who are like, you know what, I don't wanna sit in front of the sun all summer long, and I thought it was gonna be something I wanted, but there's a better job that came up, I'm leaving. Town's out the money, town's gonna be short-staffed, and, we can't recoup that money.
Robert?
You could definitely do that. You could definitely have them sign a piece of paper. In their mind, they wouldn't know, okay? If they say we're gonna, you gotta work the season, you gotta work Thursday.
So you have an employment agreement such that if they don't work a full 30 days,
They look back for the training.
then they have to reimburse the town for the training.
And
we'll need Miss Christine to draw that up, though.
What's that?
We'll need Miss Christine to draw that up.
She'll have to draw that up.
Yeah.
'Cause that would be a labor agreement.
And that was my concern, was her drawing that up is potentially gonna be more than the money that we would.
Right, yeah, potentially, unless they need to have certifications for swim instruction. And then it's a whole different, are we motioning to approve lifeguard certs, are we motioning to approve lifeguard certs and any other certs that they need for their role?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Absolutely, so are we approving or motioning to approve at this point, the motion on the table, is that to approve reimbursing or paying the employees certification just for lifeguard or for lifeguard and swim instructor should they need it?
It should be one and the same.
It's completely different. Lifeguard is saving lives,
Is
swim
there a
instructor is
Is there a different fee for the two?
Yes, and the other one, I didn't find a fee on that second one.
Okay,
We only train them with CPR first aid, when they come out of training, they get CPR, first aid, and lifeguard saving measures. How to take a kid out of the pool, right. What Miss Bailey's talking about is exactly what Mr. Motley brought up at the last meeting, which is, where's the cert that says they can teach this kid to swim? And it's a totally different cert, but I couldn't get a dollar on that in Missoula.
The current motion is just for lifeguards.
Councilmember Smith.
Do I assume that the manager already has the teaching certification?
They're
No.
just lifeguards, right?
The general understanding right now is nobody has a certification for teaching.
That's what we get.
For mine, this is completely different, but when I was a ski instructor, we had general people, you could come in, you could get your job, and you could be a ski instructor. And then you could go and get certified as a PSIA ski instructor, different levels, and then that would give you a raise. So I don't know if that would be the similar situation where you can get certified, or you don't have to get certified, you can still teach.
Okay, Janelle, look up on the internet real quick, if you would please, what it takes to become a certified swim instructor. So this is for the public to know, it's just a general Google search to gather some quick information for us.
To become a certified swim instructor in Montana, you must typically be at least 15 to 16 years old, possess strong swimming skills, earn a recognized certification such as the American Red Cross Water Safety Instructor or a WSI, or a Basic Swim Instructor, BSI. Required training includes CPR, first aid, AED certification, passing in-water skill assessments, and completing a combined online or in-person course, and that's from the city of Missoula.
Okay, and do they have a cost at all?
Let me go double check.
That's what they do, that's what this class is.
So that's the class that we're looking at.
That's the same one that I looked up, yeah, it's all the American Red Cross.
Okay,
It's not.
so that is the class that we're taking.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, I guess I'd love to see the certification that says that it's a swim instructor rather than a lifeguard. Because I think there is a significant difference, in my opinion.
Can we advertise it as swim lessons taught by lifeguards?
I'm sorry, say that again, Jerry?
Could we advertise it as just swim lessons taught by lifeguards? So we're not saying it's a certified.
How do we normally advertise it?
Just swim lessons.
We're getting the certification for the lifeguards, so they kind of
And that
self-explained it. Councilmember Ross.
So the current motion is just for the lifeguards. Is that something that we could vote on and then look into it further between now and when we start teaching lessons?
Yes.
Essentially, and then
Tentative.
kind of,
Or this could be
because they're two different things.
an omnibus,
Different.
this could apply to both. If you agree to pay for the certification for the lifeguards, and one wants to become a certified swim instructor, I think it would benefit the town to pay for that.
I agree, I just was more, I guess the current motion is just for the lifeguard training, and then we could come back and do another one too.
Okay, we can put that on the agenda. Okay?
It's just to get more, so that we can research it a little more thoroughly.
So the current motion on the floor is for the town to reimburse for certification of lifeguards, period. Okay? That's all it covers.
That would at least get us to, at least this is approved, and then would give us time to,
Recruit for the lifeguards and then understand what we need as far as training for swim lessons.
I have no problem with that.
That makes me comfortable as well.
Is there any other further council discussion? Okay, Janelle, please call for the vote for certification or reimbursement for the certification of lifeguards.
Councilmember Bailey.
Aye.
Councilmember Ross.
Aye.
Councilmember Wadler.
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith.
Okay, please put a note that we're going to bring back
On the 14th.
on the 14th of May, the question regarding payment for certification of swim instructors. Okay. Thank you. Good conversation. Next, item we need to, discuss is setting the date, to determine Stevensville pool opening for the 2026 season. You have discussed June 8th. Okay, and you'll bring that back on the 28th of, May, the council meeting for a final decision. Councilmember Bailey.
Did we determine that we wanted to decide that a little earlier so we could give our lifeguards a chance to get to the training earlier or no?
So, right now we don't have any lifeguards.
Well,
So this gives us over 28 days, this gives us, close to a month to get the lifeguards together. By then, we should know, and then we should be able to make that decision then.
And if we're gonna host it, then the date doesn't matter for training.
you're right, we're gonna host, that's right. Okay.
So could I have a motion on the floor, please? Councilmember Ross, you're doing good tonight.
I move that we approve to set the date to determine the Stevensville pool opening for the 2026 season on June 8th in the May 28th council meeting.
Okay, so may I rephrase that?
Yes.
Make sure that I get this right. I have a proposed motion on the floor to make a preliminary decision to open a pool on June 8th, with a final decision to be made on May 28th. That work?
That is great.
Okay. Is there a second? Councilmember Wander. Okay, so the motion on the floor to make a preliminary decision to open the pool on June 8th, 2026, with a final decision to be made on May 28th, 2026. Okay. Is there any public comment? Is there any council discussion? Councilmember Smith?
Just a reminder or a point of information that I will be gone from the 17th to the 1st.
Government shall move on without you.
Hmm?
Government shall move forward without you.
I'm sure it will.
Okay, is there any further comment or discussion by the council? Very good. Janelle, please call for the vote.
Councilmember Bailey? Aye. Councilmember Ross?
Aye.
Councilmember Wander?
Aye.
And Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Okay, that concludes the business for tonight. Could I please have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good conversation. That's the way you need to do things at a council meeting. Thank you.
Yeah.